I'd like to take a moment to thank my channel members for your continued support. Thank you, and consider joining today for added perks and exclusive content.
Hello and welcome, I'm Bert The Stormtrooper, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Studio Series 85 ARCEE, and this is from the Transformers Bumblebee movie. This figure is brand new and starting to hit store shelves right now. As of the time of this recording, I just found her on my local Target shelf today, just today, retailed for approximately $20, and I didn't even know that this figure was out yet. This is very cool. So she's a deluxe class figure. We've got the Studio Series packaging. This is a new style packaging that does not have, it's got like that open window. You can actually reach in there and feel the figure in there. So she does come, looks like she comes with two handheld weapons. So you want to make sure that you look in there at the store and, just make sure that the weapons are still in there before you buy the figure. So we can see the figure is already packed right there in robot mode. We got some really cool artwork of ARCEE, the way we saw her in the Bumblebee movie. Studio Series number 85, Transformers logo on the side. Again, Studio Series 85, we got a close-up of ARCEE right there. She is a deluxe class. On this side, again, we got that same artwork of ARCEE, and then on the back, we've got product shots showing us ARCEE both in robot mode and in vehicle mode. Cybertron falls, and does it tell us? Yep, 23 steps to transformation, and we can also see that there's going to be a backdrop included. So that is about it for the packaging. Let's get her opened up and check her out. And here we have ARCEE out of the package and shown with everything that she comes included in. I absolutely really love this toy. I am really digging her a lot more than I thought I would. So you can see that she comes included with the cardboard backdrop here. You can see the Cybertronian scene. It is probably inspired by, I can't say that that's a scene that I actually saw in the movie, inspired by the Bumblebee movie. Looks like that's Bumblebee right there, driving off into the battle, and you can see silhouettes of other Autobots and Decepticons back there in the middle of a battle. Pretty cool if you want to use it, if you have the space for it. It works well. Not a thing that I usually am able to use because of lack of space, but there it is if you want to use it. She also comes included with, well, her vehicle, her actual figure herself, which was on the package, and she's got these two little handheld weapons. So I'll do my best to try and focus these in. These newer cameras, trying to focus in some of the smaller stuff tends to be a little difficult at times, but there you go. So you can see what that looks like, and both of the guns are exactly the same. Get her back in focus. And now she does something really neat. She is one of the few figures, and I'm kind of getting ahead of myself a little bit here. On the back of the vehicle here, you can see her hands are just kind of tucked away back there. The vehicle mode, and I'll get into a little more detail here in a second, the vehicle mode is neat. But there are some robot bits showing, as you can see. Unless you know any better, obviously that is the robot chest, but that's because we know that's the robot chest. If you didn't know any better, that just looks like a natural part of like a tip of a vehicle if you're trying to make something that's aerodynamic. So that's passable. But her arms, her hands are right there, which, there really wasn't anywhere else for them to go. However, she does something really neat, and that is that in vehicle mode, let me put it over here first. She is one of the few figures that you can have the weapons already in hand, right? She's one of the few figures that she can transform, and the weapons are already in her hand, which is really neat. Another thing you can do is you can take the weapons, and there's a little peg right there. A slot right there, and there's a tab back here. You can also tab the weapons back here. Now, this isn't going to do you any favors for hiding those hands, obviously, but those are the spots where these weapons are going to kind of holster away when she's in robot mode. So you can actually transform her, and her weapons are either already holstered or they're already in her hand. And I think that's really neat. And I'll take that over the hands being visible, because once you put those weapons there, more like kind of like exhausts, if you ask me. And I think that looks perfectly fine there. It doesn't bother me at all, and it does a good job of hiding the hands. I think that's really neat. Now, ARCEE's vehicle mode is somewhat of somewhere across. Obviously, she's a Cybertronian vehicle, so she's not really based on anything. She's got a couple of wheels down here on each side, so kind of like a car, but then in the front you got kind of that tumbler thing going on. You got that dual wheel there in the front. She all kind of looks like a cross between a motorcycle and a car of some kind, and it's just really neat. I really like this design. Done obviously mostly in pink. You got some whites, some grays, the blue translucent window there, and then grays for the weapons and some of the joints and the wheels and whatnot. I really dig it. I really like this design. The only thing I think is missing here would have been an Autobot logo right there on the right under the windshield. I think would have been a neat place. You got this one back here, but a logo right there would have been neat. She rolls. Okay, this vehicle mode is approximately 5 inches long, about 1.5 inches tall. And, you know, I was kind of trying to figure out what is this, right? You just heard me a minute ago, kind of stumbling with my own words here. Is she a car? Is she a motorcycle? It's kind of a cross in between kind of a thing. It's just one of those. She's a Cybertronian vehicle, right? So she's like an alien vehicle. She's not going to be like anything that we've seen before, and that can lead to arguments, because then people start, some people can argue, well, that's unimaginative. It's a vehicle because they say it's a vehicle, kind of a thing, kind of like they did with Soundwave, which honestly, this is a much better alt mode than Soundwave ever had, or it's ever going to have, that Bumblebee movie Soundwave, right? But I remember that similar conversations, I guess, or arguments in the playground back when the '86 movie came out, and we were introduced to some of the new characters that were supposed to be, have space vehicle modes, and kids would say, well, what is that? Well, it's a space truck, or it's, cup. It's a space truck, or, stuff like that. So it's kind of one of those, hey, she's a space vehicle. But something about her, I just kept trying to figure out, what is it that she reminds me of? And it finally hit me. We've seen something very similar before. I had to do a little bit of digging, but here is this is the Beast Machines Viacon, and also Thrust was in the same vein right here. And yeah, she reminds me a lot of Thrust and the Viacons from the Beast Machines series, where we had those kind of like those space motorcycles, those sentient space motorcycles kind of a thing. She reminds me a lot of that, and that just absolutely makes me love her even more. Absolutely fantastic. And again, like I said, she rolls pretty nicely. She's got these two little bitty wheels hidden, tucked away down here, and then here for the double wheel on the front, the inner part of the wheel turns. So, she rolls okay. And that's really kind of about it for her vehicle mode. A couple of comparisons. Here she is with B127, or Bumblebee, from the same movie. Now, I don't remember. It's been a minute. I don't remember if I don't think that we saw her in vehicle mode in the movie. I know that we saw B, but I don't think we saw her in vehicle mode. So obviously this is just something they made up for her. And I think it's perfectly fine. We saw her in robot mode, and we'll see her in a minute, and she looks just fine in robot mode. I don't recall if we saw her vehicle mode. If we ever do, please do this, because I really dig that vehicle. That's so cool. So there she is with B, and then just because, here she is with Earthrise ARCEE, so that we can see what she's going to look like at some point, someday, maybe, or at least what she looked like back in '96. So there you go. That's what the two of those look like together. So transforming ARCEE into robot mode. Again, you can leave the weapons there. I haven't tried it with the weapons on. You know what? For the video, we'll see how this goes. I'm going to leave the weapons on just for the sake of the video and see how that goes. I'm going to start right here with these panels back here. They are tabbed in 2 places. So let me just pop that. There's a tab right there that goes into her thigh. And then there's this slot right here that's going into her arm. So you want to pop that off, bring it up, and flip it over. So we're going to do the same thing on this side. Just untab that from both the thigh and the arm. Flip that up and flip it over. That's going to allow us to go ahead and get the upper body here straightened out, so we can go ahead and straighten out the arms, straighten out the fists, and straighten out the weapon right there. We'll go ahead and do that over here as well. This is not in the instructions, by the way. It's just a thing that you can do, right? And I dropped her weapon. I thought it would get in the way, but it can be done, right? All right, so we're going to pull her chest out. It's just going to flip down. There's a couple of tabs right there that were in these 2 slots right here. And just kind of get her arms up and over and out of the way, and there you go. You got yourself the upper half of a robot almost. Let's go down here to the bottom. keep these guys out of the way here. We're going to take this whole part of the vehicle right here, front part of the vehicle, the pink top half here. This is going to unpeg from there. So let me show you, there's these two tabs here and here that are tabbed in on her, it looks like her right under her kneecaps there. And then this back part of the vehicle here, these were tabbed in. You can see those two tabs there and there were tabbed in here and here. So go ahead and just bring all of that up. Rotate her at the waist. Let's work on her upper body here. We're going to take the cockpit here. We're going to flip this over to the front. And then this gray tab's going to come up. And this is going to be her head right there. Go ahead and separate these right here. Now, this is a double hinge. So this pink part here with the white stripe is going to sit on top of this part right here. Like so. Flip this to the front. And what we're going to do now is we're going to flip all of this together using these double hinges here. We're going to tab those there. And then the head, this little tab at the front of the neck here, is going to tab right under that little lip right there in the chest piece right in there. So go ahead and do all of that. If I can keep her straight enough for the camera. Come on now. Bring the chest in there. And you see how that neck piece just tabbed in right in there. And then the windshield is just going to come up. And then these pieces are just going to kind of sit right here. They don't tab anywhere. They just kind of sit there. Which is kind of neat because then you can kind of position these and angle them any way you like later on. But there you go. That's where you're going to put them. And you see the little tabs right there earlier that I showed you for the weapons. That's where you store the weapons when you're not using them, kind of like holsters. So again, if you can work the transformation around it, you can leave them there and the weapons are already holstered when you get her in robot mode, which is really neat. It's just, there's very few figures that can do that can transform and the weapons are already either holstered or in their hands. And I just find it neat when, now granted, neither one of those two things were said in the instructions. That's just kind of things that I figured out while I was playing with her. But it's always neat when you got figures that can do that. All right, let's finish off her feet. She's got wheel feet. If you want to do that, that's an option. Again, not in the instructions, not official. But if you want to give her roller skate feet, you can do that. It's there if you want to use it. What you're supposed to do, however, is open this foot up like this. And you'll see that peg right there. You're going to pull down on the foot. Watch, there's a little tab right there. So we're going to pull that tab down and out of that, away from that slot. And then we're going to rotate the foot. And I always forget which way it rotates. Probably this way. I always rotate it in the wrong direction, but you're going to rotate it, basically. Oh, I guess I had it where I needed to go. So, let me start over. So you see that there's a slot right there where that tab was at. There's another slot back here. And so we want to pull this slot out of that tab out of that slot, rotate it, and then push it into this slot in the back right there. That's what we're looking for right there. So once you've done that, it's not super secure. Like it doesn't click, at least in mine, it doesn't like click into place or anything like that. Same thing with the foot. You can bring the foot and just close it up again. And it doesn't really snap into place or secure. It's just kind of loose. And this is for both feet. Get the shin here. You're going to pop this off. The shin is actually tabbed into the back of her, I guess her shin also. You see the little tab right there? You see that little slot. These are actually tabbed in slots. So you want to pull that off and then just kind of let it kind of go back. I let it go back as far as soon as it touches the tab, I stop pushing. And I'll show you why in a moment. So again, bring this foot out, pull it out, rotate, and push that tab into the slot around the back there. And then bring the foot over and then open up this shin piece here. And the reason for that is when you get her out of the box, these are tabbed in like this. And it causes her to just be kind of backwards, smooth criminal right there. See how she's leaning back that far? Okay. So, and that's the way she comes packaged. So as soon as you get her out of the box, you want to pull those out and kind of just straighten those out. And that's going to allow you to angle the feet in such a way where you can actually stand her. See the difference there? So there you go. Let's get her all nice and straightened out. And there you go. There is ARCEE in robot mode, standing approximately 5 inches tall. And let me bring her in close. Yeah, again, I really dig her. And she looks like I remember ARCEE looking in that movie. Again, it's been a minute since I watched it, but if memory serves me correctly, that's what she looked like in the movie, and that's neat. You know, not exactly your G1 ARCEE, but very G1 inspired, and I dig it. Like it a lot. So, you know, she's done, you saw her face details there. She's got kind of like that little antenna deal going on here on the side. She's got the pink face with those live action movie style eyes that just silver kind of a thing, and you know, you got that white helmet there. All of the cues for an ARCEE or a G1 inspired ARCEE are there, and she looks really neat. I really dig her going all the way around. You know, she doesn't have a whole lot of kibble. The backpack is small, and it's completely understandable. And I mean, this is a figure that is designed with a backpack, so that backpack actually makes complete sense to her. And again, because these pieces are on ball joints, you can pretend like, she's got jet thrusters now, and she can fly, that kind of stuff, which I really, really dig. There aren't really any hollow spots to speak of. You know, that's one of those things that Hasbro has been coming under fire for a lot lately in the last couple of years, is all of the waffling and hollow spots, and you don't really see that with her. Really, really neat design. I really dig it. And again, the play options with her are neat, because if you want to give her skate feet, again, not in the instructions, it's just one of those things that when you're playing with a figure as a kid, you just kind of discover, right? So if you want to give her skate feet, you can give her skate feet. If you want to give her jet thrusters, you can give her jet thrusters. It's just, I find her a very neat and playable feature. Really neat. I like her. As you saw, you know, the weapons were already in her hand, which again, not a lot of figures can do that. I really dig it. It's just something that really gets me when I can see a figure that can do that. Now you've got those slots right there, like I mentioned earlier. So if you don't want her holding her weapons, you can just tab them back here to the backpack. And there you go. That's how you holster the weapons for her, which again, this also works like jet thrusters. If you want to do that again, you know, for playability, it's there. I dig it. I like it a lot. Articulation wise, head is on a ball joint. Head can go up and down. It can turn side to side. It can do a little bit of tilt side to side as well. The shoulders can go in and out. They can go forward and backwards all the way around. You got to work them around the backpack some, but there you go. You got rotation on the bicep. You got a double hinge 290s at the elbow here. Check that out. 290s at the elbow. Very nice. No rotation at the wrist. Probably because of the way it transforms. It's on a hinge so it can go in. So, I mean, if you want to use that for, I don't know, some gangster shooting maybe, you know, so it's there. It can be used as articulation if you want. You got a rotation at the waist. The hips can go forward, backwards, in and out. You can rotate at the thigh. You got a bend at the knee. And as you saw, as part of the transformation also, you have ankle tilts for days. Again, I really dig her. I got her I was on the fence, and my daughter kind of talked me into getting her. I found her in another figure. I knew I was going to get the other figure. I was looking at her. She was the only one on the shelf. And I'm like, man, I'm really on the fence with her. And we just got done with my daughter's college orientation. And basically, I spent 8 hours sitting in a theater listening to a bunch of stuff I had already listened to once with my other daughter went to college. And my daughter just goes, you know what? You just sat in the theater for 8 hours listening to college stuff. Treat yourself. So that was my incentive to pick her up. I was kind of on the fence. I'm really glad I did. I dig this figure a lot. She's a lot of fun. She's really, really cool. I'm really glad that she thought, she kind of pushed me over the line to get her. A couple of quick comparisons. Again, you know what? Just because he's here. There she is with G1 Prime. Just so you can see a size difference, see what the two of those look like together. Just because I always have a Prime on the shelf in case of emergencies. Here she is with, I almost said G1, with Earthrise ARCEE, which is based on G1. So you can see what the two of them look like together. And again, you can see that it is based on her, but it's what she would look in a live action movie. I dig it. I absolutely dig it. Really cool figure. And one more time, here she is with B127 or Bumblebee from the same movie, so you can see what the two of them look like together. So yeah, if you're into the live action movies, you're into the Bumblebee movie, which was a great movie. If you're into ARCEE, if you're into weird Cybertronian tumbler looking vehicle modes, fantastic figure with a lot of playability. I find her really, really neat. And I think that is about it for my review of what was the Studio Series Bumblebee movie, ARCEE. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.